What's up, everybody? Welcome to TL's Roadhouse. Back in the man cave. In the house, Chase Matthew.
We're here. Thank you for having me, man.
Man, it's so good to have you here. So we got a lot to talk about, man. I've got a lot to learn about you. So I kind of read your bio on a few things, man. Congratulations on all the success, man. You got a lot of good stuff going on.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. And it's been everything from the Opry to crazy stages, and hell, we've even shared a few stages. I think what was it, Carolina Country Music Fest. And I opened for you that day. That was a crazy show, and man, a lot of cool things are happening.
That's good, man. I'm proud for you. We just had Mitchell Tenpenny on recently, and I've been here over 30 years, and when I first got here, you didn't meet a lot of guys in the industry that were native Nashvillians.
Yeah,
and so I've had a couple on recently that are native Nashvillians.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, we're from here, man.
So where'd you go to school at? Excuse me.
So, man, I went to like 10 different schools, to be honest, but kind of bounced between mom and dad's house, two different households. But I ended up dropping out of high school, 10th grade, and but I went to Gallatin High School for 2 years, and went to school anywhere from Hendersonville to Gallatin to Nashville to Whites Creek. I'm all over the place. So I'm basically a Middle Tennessean at heart, really. And
so what you're saying is you didn't really care for school that much?
No, man. I hate listening to people tell me what to do. So
I understand that. Well, you know what I've figured out over the years is most people that ride around on those tubes that we call buses do this because we don't like to conform to society.
Right.
We want to have our own mind. We want to see the world the way we want to see it. We like to party. We want to have a good time. Mm-hmm. If you don't like that, get out of the damn way.
Exactly. And if you've got a plan B, you'll never go with plan A because you think plan B is going to be easier.
I never had a plan B.
No.
Nope. That's pretty cool, though, man. So dropped out of school in 10th grade, and I understand you're an avid mechanic. Spent a lot of time in the shop.
Dude, probably more time than I should. I finally got to buy like my first house for myself, and saved up and took some responsibility for my poor financial choices, and bought myself a house. And it has a big old 12-car garage. I built it out and painted it all black on the inside. I wear a lot of black. That's my favorite color. So
I got the memo.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's but yeah, I spent a lot of time in there, and I've been trying to show my fans a lot more what I've been doing too. What I'm working on, and four-wheelers. I got a thing for old vintage four-wheelers, and I really have a thing for old Dodge Ram trucks, but at the same time I like Jeeps. It was one of my first vehicles, and I don't remember how many vehicles I'm up to right now, but that's not the point. The point is I'm keeping them running.
So here's the deal. When the solar flares hit or they shut the grid down, every vehicle on the highway is going to stop running because they all have chips in them.
Yeah.
So we're all going to need to go back to people that are true mechanics and know how to do combustion engines without all the crap on them.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you're going to be able to drive, man. We're probably going to go to Cuba and get all their stuff.
I'm going to be daily driving my 66 with a carburetor. Yeah.
What's your favorite car? I'll tell you mine.
Oh, shit. Out of the collection?
Or just your dream car. If you don't have it already, car. What is it?
Dream car. Damn. Well, my dream car is what I want to build. I want to take, my dad has a 65 Plymouth Satellite, which has got a crazy ass story. I'll tell you that in a second if you want to hear it. But
sure.
I want to take it and I want to put a 6.4 Scat Pack motor in it, like a Hemi, like a fuel injected modern day Hemi in it. And so that's my dream car at the moment. That's what I'm dreaming of getting done because I've been procrastinating too long. But yeah, it's crazy story on that car. If you want to hear it, I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell me about it. Sure.
Well, so my dad.
So tell me the name of the car again.
So it's a 65 Plymouth Satellite, 2-door.
Is that close to? It's like a Plymouth Fury and that kind of family?
Yeah. So the Fury, the Road Runner,
GTO.
Yeah, the Belvedere. The GTO is Pontiac. The Belvedere, there's a couple different ones. They're kind of all the same thing, like
A lot of those
GMC,
came in.
Chevrolet,
Didn't they
whatever.
come in a plum color? Wasn't there a plum color?
Plum
in that
crazy
era?
purple, yeah. And I've been telling my dad forever, look, we gotta paint this thing.
That's the color, man.
You gotta put it purple, and he's like, no. I'm like, bro,
But that's the color that identifies that era to me.
Literally, yeah. And I mean, it's the color that changed everything. That was one of my I ain't gonna lie, my favorite color is purple, and my other favorite color is black. But I look a whole lot cooler in black.
You're not the purple one.
Yeah.
You're not Prince.
No, I'm not. I can't sing like that. But yeah. So in this car is like, we finally are doing something with it now. So my dad's had this car since he was 19 years old.
No kidding.
And he never even got to drive it. He never drove it, even at 19. Like, it was always broke down, and he always had dreams of fixing it up. And I don't know if you watched, that show that was on. I think it was TLC. They had that show called Overhauling.
Oh yeah, with Chip Foose.
Yeah, damn Chip
bro.
Foose, man. He kidnapped your car. You ain't careful. Shit.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of grew up watching this show, with my dad, and we always dreamed of fixing this car up. And so it was in New Mexico for the longest time, in my uncle's backyard for like 30 years. And he finally talked my dad. He finally brought it to my dad in Tennessee. And in 2017, my stepmom and my dad got a divorce. And so my dad, with what he had left to his name, took everything with him, moved back to New Mexico, and had to leave the car in Tennessee. So he got it all the way to Tennessee and then had to leave it there. And we kind of just decided, like, if we haven't got to it now, then we just need to sell it. And we sold it for $800.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yep. Yeah. Don't laugh. It sucks. But what's cool about it is one of my managers, both of my managers are sitting in here right now. Snap asked me, he said, what's the first thing you want to buy with your first music check, when everything started looking up for me about 3 years ago. And he was like, it's going to be for X amount. And first off, I was like, holy shit, I've never seen that much money in my life, let alone in person. But it was printed on a check, so I guess it doesn't really count. But I got the money, and I told him, I said, I want to go buy my dad's old car back. And I went through about 3 to 4 months of tracking this damn car down, and I finally found it. And got it back. Sold it for $800, bought it back for $12,000 in 12,000 pieces.
Oh, they had already disassembled it.
They didn't want to part with it. And dude had already, like, bought all the parts, and, like, he'd already started prepping the body, took all the glass out. Like, it was a whole dilemma. But I was like, dude, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll need it. I gotta have it. And so surprised my dad with it a little over a year ago. And
after you'd done the full restoration, got everything.
No, it's
it's
not.
still in pieces.
Yeah, Hey, Dad, I got your car back, but here's the catch. It's not how it left. But yeah, we got it back, and so now we're starting to work on putting it back together. And
that's cool.
I got some awesome friends at Lucas Oil that are going to be a part of it, and it's going to be cool, man.
That's awesome. So I've got two favorites. My absolute favorite car is a 69 Chevelle SS.
Hell yeah.
And I will have one before it's over with. So my running buddy in high school had an old Chevelle. It was gold. And we spent so much time in that car. I mean, we ran all over 4 counties and everything through high school, man.
Uh-huh.
I love that old car, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't an SS. It was all beat up, but we had the best time in that car. There's just something special about it. Right. And I love old Chevrolet pickup truck. So I've got a 65 fleet side back there that I am going to restore, but I want to hot rod it out. I want a crate motor in it. I want to
what are you thinking? What kind of motor are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I still hadn't got to it yet. I've got to build a shop. We built this house a few years ago, so I'm getting in the process of getting ready to start on the shop.
You got plenty of room. If y'all don't know, this man's he's done it right.
but you've got to have the space to break it down. You got to label everything and put all your bolts and bends. And there's no reason to buy stuff that you don't need to buy.
Right.
So I've got to have the situation. Once I get into it, I'll figure out. I want muscle. I mean, I want to hot rod it out. So I want to shorten the axle in the back, put wide tires on it. All the
crazy.
But I mean, I have a lot of dreams of a lot of stuff I want to do. But you get to what you can get to.
Yeah, man, exactly. But hey, we were all dreaming of where we'd be today.
Oh my goodness.
A little bit at a time.
So let's talk about I know that you're moved into the major label system, but I want to hear about your journey,
Yeah.
about how you started with social media and the progression and what your thought process was, how you approached it, how you really got your following. I want to hear
Yeah.
about the journey through that.
Absolutely. So,
When did you start posting? And did you start with TikTok? How many?
yeah,
When did
yeah.
what year did you start making your first post?
Well, so I guess it kind of started. My foundation wasn't really. It's crazy because there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, it happened overnight, but they don't know about those 8 years,
Yeah.
10 years of work before it. And outside looking in, I'm sure sometimes it does look like that. But I've been putting music out since I was 15 years old, and my
Really?
whole family's in music. So, not in like the industry, but they are all musically talented. Aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers. I mean, it's insane. I thought that was normal until I kind of
Yeah,
grew
I
up.
read that your dad played down in Prentice Alley a lot. He's probably
Yeah.
friends with at Skull down at Skull's Rainbow.
Holy
Ring.
shit! Yeah,
All
yeah,
of the stuff,
yeah,
man.
yeah. He knows. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he knows.
He probably knew barbers down there from years ago. I mean, I spent a lot of time down there. In
Man,
the
that's
90s,
crazy.
man.
Hell, you might know my dad and not even
I
realize
probably
it.
met your dad.
Damn, that's crazy. Well, his name's Rocky.
Did he play at
And,
the Blues Bar? Where'd he play at?
Man,
down there?
I
All
wasn't,
over the place down
I
there.
wasn't alive back then, so I'm not real sure. But
Yeah, I made my rounds through all of that.
yeah, he knows about all that. He still tells me to this day all these crazy stories about down there. But yeah, so I started writing. I wrote my first song I think when I was like 13 or 14, and I mean, I didn't do anything with it, but once I started putting music out, it was kind of like I didn't know what I wanted to do. Did I want to rap? Did I want to put out Christian music? I was always this kid that grew up in mom's house listening to gospel and contemporary Christian music, and then at dad's house it's polar opposite. It was rock and roll and never really country, but I grew up in the country, man. I grew up in Jolton, Tennessee, Whites Creek, Tennessee area, off of a road called Licton Pike, and man, it's I got a lot of inspiration there to kind of like show more about who I was. So I started putting that into music, and always tried to brand myself, try to figure all that out. So once I started focusing more on like the country music, I dropped a song called Nashville Crazy.
What year was that?
That was 2018, 19.
Gotcha.
And it's like my first song that really showed me like to believe in myself. And first time I invested into myself rather than investing into somebody else. I used to produce music for other people too, and that's what I thought my dream was for the longest time. I thought that's what it was. But I realized, man, nobody can do it for you, and the only person that knows how to do it the right way that you want it to be done is yourself. So I started investing time into myself, put the song out, Nashville Crazy. Everybody in town started sharing it, man. It kept moving on, man, dropping more music, and then got a investment recording contract with Holler Boy Records, and man, finished all that out, dropped, hell, I think we did a 6-song EP there and a 12-song album. And that shit went crazy, man. Dropped this song called County Line I wrote in my bedroom. Broke as shit. I had a $200 MacBook Pro, 2012, and was learning how to I was maneuvering from like the Dell PC recording software
Moving into GarageBand.
Yeah, moving over into Logic and trying to figure this shit out. And once I got it down pat, I recorded over an instrumental of this song called County Line that I wrote by myself about a real breakup, and I didn't realize what it was going to do for me. And my manager, Big Snap, told me, he said, "Man, listen, I know you think that this social media TikTok thing is a little odd, and it don't, because the way I grew up, guerrilla marketing. You got to go out, you got to sell the hard copies, you got to move the tickets, and I didn't really believe in the social media thing, and he told me, he's like, man, listen, you just got to do it. Post this video right here. Post this video and just try it.
So what did you post that to first?
TikTok.
TikTok. Okay.
And I posted it on TikTok. I think I already had 10,000 followers on Instagram, and so I was trying to move the needle, but posted that thing on TikTok and went to work as an ATV mechanic, which I was for 6 years. Came back home. That video had 750,000 views.
Wow.
And let me remind you, my TikTok, I think I only had 3,000 followers. I didn't have nothing going on. I think I'd only posted 6 times ever. And so one thing I'll say that I've learned over all the social media is it's really easy to make a video go viral, right? But it's hard to make a sound go viral. And I don't know, man, it just hit and the whole sound went viral. And next thing I know, we're planning out a freaking release for a song. I put this song on TikTok, and 60 days later, I'm in my first Prevost tour bus, and I still hadn't got my first music check.
Let me ask what is a real stupid question, because I come from a completely different era, and I have a hard time wrapping my brain around some of the way all this new stuff is going
Yes, sir.
on.
Understand.
So I mean, when my career broke in the 90s, it was all about radio.
Yeah.
And there's something about putting a single out on radio. You go through the process, you hit the 40s, you feel the momentum, you hit the 20s, you feel the intensity increase, you get top 10. So I got accustomed to that. I've been off the radio since before 2010. That's the last single that we put out to radio. So the social media era for me is trying to look at the numbers, trying to understand how things are impacting, which songs to put in my set. That's really a struggle for me. How do you identify what are the markers that you look for that tell you you've got a hit record? Do you feel the crowd response from it? Do you look at the analytics? I mean, what is it that you look at that determines what you stay with and when you move on to something else?
Yeah, so I'm really passionate about everything you're saying, dude. Because like I love to break this down. I had a talk with and I can't remember who it was, but we talked about this, and it was Ben Hayslip.
Cool.
And we were talking about it, and I was like explaining to him like how TikTok worked and whatnot. And I think what's really cool though about digital as a whole, right, is that we have analytics, and some of those analytics you can manipulate, and some people can lie, and buy fake plays and buy fake views.
Yep.
But when you know what you're really looking for, especially the people at the labels, the people at the radio stations, like they can tell what's real and what's fake. For example, just because you got a song that's got this amount of streams, you might not be able to sell the tickets.
Yeah.
And so with us, what's really cool is like we'll try to even change up our set list sometimes, because like one of these songs will be bigger in this market than the other. And so we'll play it last versus, or whatever the finale for the night.
So you're looking at those numbers all the time, especially as you're coming into a market. You want to know what's impacting there. And when we talk, people throw the word viral around all the time. What does it take to make something go viral? What's the hard number that justifies something being called viral?
Well, like I think the real question is like, who even knows what the hell's going to go viral?
It's the Wild West out there. I mean, to me, that's the way I see it.
You don't know what the hell's going to go viral. You don't know, so it's like, and really, I don't know what the threshold is of what viral is.
And how do you follow up when you have something go viral? When you're working an album and you get momentum, you can piggyback things that might not have been as strong, but you get momentum. How do you get momentum off of a viral impact?
Well, I think it kind of goes all the way back to like the traditional way with, like you said, with radio. It's kind of like a rollout that backs behind it, So there's always going to be something you got to keep the people talking about, and it all goes back to popularity. I mean, I could think of a few examples right now of just people that went viral for something outside of their music career.
Yeah.
But still translated into real plays and real streams. It's kind of like, I think about it like this. So radio, obviously, like you said, I went to Warner, so now I'm going towards radio, and which is a dream come true for me to even be able to say that. But I try to think like that streams would correlate with radio play, and it really doesn't. We know that, like, just like I said before, like you can have streams but not have ticket sales. Like you can have streams but not be on the radio, and you have to have a radio team to push all this stuff. I guess what I'm trying to get at is if you have the knowledge and you're willing to do the work of the analytics, you know what's going to work and you know what you can present to the table. So that's the difference, I would say, between a singer and a star. The difference between like a TikTok artist and someone who's going to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
Is the person that does the work to study their fan base. And it's as simple as just going into the back end and seeing who it is, But that's what's kind of cool, I think, as well about having all the analytics is you can kind of just do whatever you want. You know where your fans are, what they like, and sometimes you don't know what they like, so you got to kind of try new things, but you never lose them.
So you said something a while ago about a sound,
Hmm.
and establishing a sound that really is identifiable with you. Is that translating over to the record label? Have you cut that first project with the label yet?
When you say sound, you mean like
Like a branding sound that you have for you and what you've done thus far? Because I've heard people say that, and I've been told this from some other TikTok stars that I've had on the podcast. It's a weird thing. You might have a few million followers on TikTok,
yeah,
and you're in control of your career. You know, you're doing 90% of yourself. You got a small team. You're doing your video. You're doing your content. You're making your own music.
yeah.
And then when you sign that record deal, they take all that away from you.
Sometimes, yeah.
Did they not do that to you?
No, they
So
didn't.
you were wise enough to keep it. But I've heard people say that means you've got a good team of people with
Oh,
you,
I've got the
because
best team in this industry. I'll
because
fight for them.
I've heard that the labels, they want to shut all that down. They want to take your revenue stream away. And the scary thing for me about that is when you sign a label, is that they promise you the moon till they get your signature on that contract,
Yeah.
and they might not release your album for 5 years.
You're right.
And then they've taken everything that you built away from you. They've completely taken it away.
Yeah.
So explain the transition. How did you go about that?
Yeah, well, it's great, dude. So, obviously, get you a lawyer first off. Any artist watching this, anybody
Absolutely.
who, invest in a lawyer. Don't be a dumbass. But like, dude, tremendously, I'm grateful so much because my team invests so much time in not just the business but my well being.
Yeah.
And nobody. I think one of the worst things that I see. I have a few friends that super famous but broke as shit. The worst thing is being the dude that is
Oh, yeah.
it's the worst thing when the openers in a prevost and you're in a sprinter.
Yeah.
Like you don't ever want to be that guy. Like, and not saying that if you're in a sprinter it sucks. I'm saying if the lineup don't line up, then it ain't lining up.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying?
you've got to be smart about where you
Yeah.
position yourself.
So
But
with the label side of things, like when I came to the table with Warner, and we met in the middle, man, like it was incredible because number one, without saying too much into the details, man, like ownership is the only ship for me. And that's kind of been our saying forever. It's like, as long as you're willing to work extra hard, man, you'll always see the better end of the deal, do your research. But I told myself, I felt like I'd hit like this ceiling as an independent artist. Obviously, there was still extra levels I could have went to, but I know that radio still controls so many things, and
doubt.
people still listen to the radio, whether people want to believe it or not. People still listen to the radio. The radio still runs all the festivals. I mean, we know how this industry works, and man, I wanted to go big or go home. I wasn't cool with settling as the dude that has a gold record. I want to be the guy who has multiple number ones.
There you go.
Never settle, man. And I guess what I'm trying to say with the whole label thing is, yeah, there's like this new wave of TikTok, and it seems like everything's transitioning into streaming, and physical copies don't seem to really be a thing anymore. People aren't interested, and it's like, it's kind of wild because I saw the transition with my family and selling tapes and how they used to do, and all the way even to CDs, and so it's kind of just staying ahead of the curve and staying in that circle, I guess, of just knowing the knowledge of what's next. And Warner is one of the best labels in this town, and they've never tried to take anything from me. And I've met with a lot of labels when we were trying to make that transition and find the right home. And I just felt like, genuinely, I'm not getting paid to say this, like, dude, I've really felt like at home there. I can walk the hallways and just everybody's like, what you working on, Chase? What do you want to brainstorm on? And that's how it should be. And if you don't feel that way, you shouldn't go partner with them.
Absolutely. And what I've learned over the years, I've been on a few different imprints, having a relationship with the staff in that building. I mean, a good relationship, a creative relationship, because I made the mistake of making a transition when Atlantic closed, which was my primary label, in '99. And I was getting ready to go back in the studio the next week. And I got a call from the head of the label that said, you have the opportunity to move to Warner Brothers or we will release you. And I still had a few albums left on my deal. I said, I'm scheduled to go in. But what I didn't realize, what I didn't think about, is that nobody at that label had a vested interest in me. They weren't involved in the song process.
Yeah.
I didn't have a relationship with anybody. And it was an impossible task. I wound up cutting one album, then I cut one more, and they dropped me and sold it off. And that one they sold off just happened to have Paint Me a Birmingham on it.
Oh yeah.
So I had a little time
Big
at Warner
hits
Brothers.
out here,
I had
man.
a little time at Warner Brothers too.
Yeah.
But the relationship inside that building is so very important. because everybody needs to know that they have a piece of it, whether it's the promotion staff, the marketing, the sales team, all that. It's about relationships still matter in this town.
And like you said too, like with like there is this kind of like overhang of or not overhang, what is it, this like aura, this talk that like, oh, record labels are bad, and like, dude, from the background I came from, I had that like brainwashing in my head for so long that record labels are bad, and not all of them are bad. And honest to God, bro, as long as you have a good team, that any record label could be bad. It's about the team you build within
And
the
so
label,
much
man.
of it is about that initial deal that you do on the front
Yes.
end. If you get
fine print.
a fine print, baby. If you do your due diligence on the front side and you go into it with your eyes open, then you can have a very healthy, productive relationship. Because all that's done by lawyers. The people that you're working with, man, it's about the chemistry there. But if you don't get the right thing taken care of with the lawyers, you're always going to feel like you're getting screwed over.
Yeah, absolutely. And no one's going to invest time if the boss above them's like, hey man, we're not making nothing there anyway. So it's like you got to make sure that your priorities are straight. And
so have you cut that first record yet? Or are you in the process of it?
We literally just dropped a 25 song album like 3 months ago, and over at Warner. And before that, we dropped. Well, I guess the singles were re-released on the album. So, but yeah, I dropped one of my first singles on there my first song at Warner that is now my first song at radio.
Gotcha. And that's what I was getting to. What's the first song at radio?
Yeah, it's called Love You Again. I wrote it with Taylor Phillips and Casey Brown. We walked in there. It was one of those like 20-minute, 30-minute days, you walk in and it's like it just falls into place,
Oh, yeah.
And it felt good, and dude already had a track ready, and we cut vocals on it that day, and literally the demo is what ended up getting mixed and mastered and becoming the record.
That's awesome.
That's, that day of kind of thing. So, but yeah, I just found out it went gold in 9 months, which is new for me. That's a new record for me. So, second gold record, and just found out my first gold record is now platinum. So that's incredible too. But
that's awesome.
Grateful.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's the plan? I mean, obviously you want to be as big as you can, but I know you've got a strategy in your head. I can tell you're a thinker.
Thank you.
What's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan?
Well, someone told me, someone I respect very dearly that I'm positive is going to watch this video. He told me, he said, you got to think that sometimes you're not successful until you make somebody else successful. You don't know everything about the industry until you can do it twice. And so my dream, like I said earlier, was like I thought that my dream was to be a producer. And it's kind of always been, I've always been a giver. Like I always want to invest in everybody else. And honestly, I find myself sometimes doing that today to the point that I slow my own roll down. And but man, the goal is I'm gonna run it up the charts, man. I'm gonna live here for country music. Like this is what I listen to. This is what I jam growing up. And aside from the metalhead side and the God-fearing side, I use both of those and meet in the middle with the kid that was in the cut. I fear God, and I love heavy drums and distortion guitars. All right, like that's just me. But the goal is I want to build a brand, and I want to build artists, and I want to make sure that those artists are learning along the way. It's not about building an artist, it's about building the knowledge for the artist, because I'm not going to do it for you. I'm just going to give you the tools and you can do it yourself. And I feel like there's not really anything like that right now, so I definitely know that as time progresses and there's more of those TikTok, style artists that arise on the surface, we should be able to teach those people how to sustain themselves without going and signing a bad deal, and
some people don't have the desire to be on a label. I mean, some people are very content going down the road that they're on, doing their own independent thing. I would never go back into major label system, but I'm at a different place in life too.
Yeah, you're established as hell. Established as it gets.
I can work the rest of my life doing what I'm doing.
Yes, sir.
I mean, but you've got to figure out what is the best for you, and go back to what you said: your mental well-being, your creative well-being. It sounds like at some point, from everything you're saying, that you're probably going to wind up branching out and producing other artists along the way too.
That'd be cool, and that's what I love to do, man. I just love creating. I love the creative side of everything, and really just being invested in the project,
Yeah. So I just got this tattoo recently.
Yeah.
And this is my country music Mount Rushmore. So my Mount Rushmore is George Strait. George was one of my early influences. I discovered him in the early 80s, and he had a huge influence on me. George Jones took me under his wing. He was the first big tour I was on in 1992, and I spent a couple of years with Jones and got very tight with him and loved him dearly.
Insanity.
Keith Whitley, I never got to meet him, but I've been very close with Lori and Jesse Keith, and he had a huge impact on me too. And Merle Haggard was probably one of the biggest influences on me musically, and I got a chance to go to Haggard's house several years before he passed away and spend the day with him in his studio, which was very cool.
Man.
And it doesn't matter if they're mixed genres.
Yeah.
Who would be your country? Who would be your musical Mount Rushmore?
Dude.
I know that's pretty deep.
Does it have to be like established artists?
It can be anybody you want it to be.
It would be, well, number one would be my Aunt Beverly, and she, rest her soul, she passed away about 10 years ago. Yeah, last week marks 10 years ago. And man, she was a huge influence, like musically, amazing woman. But she would be on there, probably Nickelback. That you'd have to fit all them in like one. You know, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of faces on Rushmore.
They'd just be little tiny, with a group.
Yeah, that's Rushmore more. But and then man, probably like Jason Aldean and like maybe like Casting Crowns, man.
That's cool.
You know, like some good old singing in the church pew, but the hymn style. The what's that song called? I don't know who wrote it, but whoever wrote that song, it means a lot to me. I can't remember what it is. Man, if I wouldn't have thought about it, I wouldn't have thought about it. But I can't remember. But whoever wrote that song, I'd put them on my arm. I'll think about it in a second.
That's a pretty deep concept, though. Yeah. I mean, I've been very proud of this,
dude. That's badass, though. Like seriously, and the Merle right here.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's sick on the strap.
Yeah, I freaking love the Merle, and I got a chance to meet all of them, and spend time with them, other than Keith, which was very sad for me. Never got a chance to meet him. So I got to town in the fall of 1990, and Keith died, I think the year before.
Man,
that's where the year before.
Isn't it wild though to think though, and I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but I'll say it, like, you know, the way that those people influenced you. Like, have you ever thought about who's going to have you on their arm?
Oh yeah, man. It's been a real hard transition for me to kind of understand that, because, you know, I'm still relatively young, but I'm already getting kind of put in that conversation, and it's really hard to adjust to being talked about like that.
I don't think it's an age thing though.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing of like when you wake up and you look in the mirror and you still look the same and you don't think anything's changed, and it's like you don't realize how much stuff has changed and how much like influence you've had on people's lives until you look back on all of it. You know, even just like what I've done so far, like in no way am I bragging, because it has no comparison to what you're doing, what you've done.
Oh yeah,
but like the influence, man, and just bringing people to music. Music brings people together. Like, man, you're gonna have so many people with your face on their arm.
I just want to continue to be a good role model, and because when it comes down to it, man, it was never about the money or the fame. I just wanted to make music.
Yeah.
And I love meeting and hearing young people talk about having that same kind of passion, because, you know, this business can chew you up and spit you out. It can be devastating. It can break your spirit. It can destroy you. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it will chew you up and spit you out. But as long as you do it for the passion and the love of the craft, they can never take that away from you. And that's the way to win, to me. Because as long as you keep that fire in your stomach about continuing to be creative and continue to grow and continue to be a positive influence and put good things back out in the world, man, that's what it's all about, bro.
Come on now. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm here too, man. Like I feel like, and I kind of feel like I should have gave you that answer a little sooner, like when you said earlier, you know, what's your strategy? And honestly, like, I'm just kind of here for what God's plan has for my life, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are too afraid to talk about God nowadays, and I get on a stage every night and tell people about it. Like you said, it's about putting positivity, like positive energy back into the world. Like you get what you give, and man, I know for a fact, like, I mean, let's talk about it. Statistics say that I'm a high school dropout. I shouldn't be any bit of successful. I should, you know, whatever, man. But we don't listen to statistics. We listen to what God's got planned for our life, and I feel like we should all do that more often. And that's kind of the vision at the end of the day. I'm really grateful to hear you say that too, man, because I know it's got to be tough for a lot of artists too, man, at some point to like not be burned out after all the years, man, and you're just still passionate about it. Like you said too with the music, like if the day it becomes about money, it becomes a job, and we didn't do this to make it a job, you know?
Absolutely not. And you fall into it, especially at the end of a long grinding year. You're ready for it to be over. But what I've learned over the years is that you've got to build your breaks in. And every year that goes by, if you really ponder and you're a thinker, you'll say, I can see right now that I start to burn out about right here, and I need to take 2 or 3 or 4 weeks off right here, and I'm gonna start to burn out about here again. And you'll start structuring your life around those things. And if you can get that put in place, then you can maintain a heavy workload for a long time without burning yourself out. Know your breaking points and building your priority things that you do for your own personal enjoyment and satisfaction. Like if you're a passionate deer hunter and you want to take time off at the opening of deer season every year and indulge yourself in that, or you want to go to the car show at a certain time and go to Manheim auction in
Hell
April
yeah.
or whatever it is you want to do, those are things that are food for your soul that you have to continue. You can't lose those pieces of yourself along the way and just get on that freaking treadmill and grind all the time. That is so unhealthy. And when you start having success and you start going real fast at all of it, you look back at the times that you were starving to death and you didn't have anything. And you don't want to miss out on anything. You want to take advantage of all of it. But sometimes saying no can be the most healthy thing you can do. Because sometimes when you say no, they come back, and then you say no again, and then you say no one more time, and then the money goes up and everything changes.
That's the best thing you could have said to. I mean, I've with everything that's been happening too, I've been trying to like stay consistent and keep my foot on the gas, because we're finally starting to see. I'm feeling this bubble like that's about to get big, and we're starting to get recognition from amazing people, and like including yourself.
I
like,
get it, man.
And yeah, it's like you said, man. It's kind of hard to keep your foot on the gas and not feel burnt out all the time. But I'll tell you what, I ain't stopping until I get my first number one. I can tell you that. I'll take a week off when I get my first number one. I'll tell them no for a week.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome, brother. I'm really proud for all the success you're having. I can tell that you're a smart guy.
Thanks, man. I'm a pain in the ass for a lot of these guys, but
That's not a bad thing.
but I'm grateful for everybody and every opportunity that comes to the table, man. Any opportunity is a good one. That's how I look at it.
Is there a venue that you dream about playing that you hadn't got to play yet? Tell me.
Everybody says Red Rocks, but my new one is Bridgestone Arena. Being from Nashville, so that's kind of like it was. What was it called? What was it called before?
Gaylord.
No.
Oh,
The
so amazing.
Soul
Yeah,
Mason.
So yeah, that one.
Gaylord and so amazing.
Yeah. Y'all, we have a live audience in the studio today.
We're gonna play bingo when we're done.
Yeah, but I remember going there for Monster Jam or even Winter Jam. They had the Christian concert there, and man, I spent a lot of my childhood and days there, and being from Nashville, that was kind of the only place they really had in any kind of arena, and so it's really cool, especially going in there for like some of the events and like award shows and other concerts, and even having friends that are playing there. It's really cool to like visit there and be like, man, like y'all are in my city now. You're like, thanks for coming to my place. Like it still feels the same. There's an energy there.
Man, growing up here, so I've been here over 30 years, and I've seen this city change so much, man. And growing up here and living it, it's been pretty amazing to watch it evolve and watch it change. What's some
Amazing.
Of the positive,
And yeah. Okay, go ahead.
what's some of the positive and the negative?
positive?
The
Let's talk about the positive.
Let's talk about the positive first, because it gets overwhelmed. Traffic sucks.
Yeah.
It's just freaking awful.
Well, I think the positive in all of it really is country music in general, dude. Like country music right now is hotter than any genre,
Anything.
like, anything. Like and I think that has a lot to do with the tourist kind of attraction that Nashville has become, and it's cool to be country now, And like I remember when all of a sudden, like, dude, I remember, I don't even want to say it, but 10 years ago when you said you were country, people would shame you, like think that you're some hillbilly freaking dude that flies rebel flags or something, like, I mean, and some of us, that's us, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like there's a judgment behind everything that I feel like that's the downside of Nashville is this judgment of like now we can't be proud of where we came from, you know. And
Well, it used to be based on hee haw. When I
Yeah.
got here, everybody still thought Nashville, that's hee haw town.
Yeah.
But man, this is a work. You know when I saw it change, and I'll tell you this: when we had the NFL draft, and there were 500,000 people on Lower Broad, and we had a Stanley Cup playoff at the same time, and we had enough restaurants and hotels and Airbnbs that could handle all of it, and we had no problems. That was when the world took notice of Nashville.
that was that was what, like
2008. 17, 18.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I
it
was
was right
about to say
before
6 years
COVID.
ago,
It was
yeah.
right before COVID.
Yeah,
I mean,
remember
but
that.
everything changed for me.
I'll never forget seeing that. Is it the volunteer bridge or the pedestrian bridge?
Oh, that pedestrian, but I'm
Bro, that shit was, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Holy
dude. Like,
crap.
there was people like, and I remember looking because I was down there. I was one of those. I was one of those people.
Were you one of the woo girls?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. No, I was actually. I'll tell you why I was down there. We were down there, handing out QR code or not QR codes, but like little like cards that had,
Yeah.
like, here's my music, go check me out, and nobody gave a shit, but you know it was cool though. That's what it takes. But like you said, yeah, dude, I will never forget standing down there and looking at the bridge while all these people were walking across it and seeing all the trash. Like there were so many people, and then they were just throwing like trash overboard of the bridge, bro. And you would just see like bottles, like every few seconds, like you'd see like a wrapper or like I don't even know, dude. It was just like, yeah, that's the kind of the. Some people don't respect the city the way
I
that
hate
we
that.
would, you know.
Yeah, but it's you know, it's just changed so much over the last several years.
Yeah.
They say this is the #1 bachelorette party destination in the United States. It's Vegas without slot machines.
Makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, and I know some people that live in the Gulch, and they say the woohoo girls, whatever you call them. It's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't sleep when you live down there.
Sir.
Get out of there.
Sir, let me tell you something.
Tell me.
Okay, let me tell you something. I'm about to dive in. This is gonna be funny.
Come on.
So it's probably not funny. It's the stupidest decision I ever made in my life. I dressed up as a woo. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. So I remember when I was making the transition into
Tell
Warner.
me about your transition.
Yeah,
Tell me all
damn
about it.
shit. I can't get away from this one.
Keep digging.
Let me word this one right real quick. Damn. So so I was renting this double wide trailer, and I wanted to get an apartment, and I wanted to like be closer to Nashville, and that way I could write more, I could hang out with, you know, just be more present to win. And I told myself, I said, if I'm gonna move downtown, I'm gonna get the bougiest, craziest ass apartment I can find. And I found it, and I got it.
In the Gulch.
Nope, Broadway.
Oh.
Fifth and Assembly Food Hall, basically Fifth and Broadway. There's these apartments that it's called The Place, and it's the place to be. It's sick, but you know, I got tired of like my truck not fitting in the parking garage, and then like I had to go buy a whole nother car just to like park there, and then dude, the rent was like I'll go ahead and say it, like, because this is the poorest decision I ever made. The rent, no joke, was like $6,500 a month.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and it was crazy. It had glass windows,
1-2 bedroom.
2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. It was nuts. But on top of that, I had to pay the $300 a month just for a parking pass. It was some craziness. And you know what?
Do you know how big of a house you could get for that outside of town?
I told you a second ago. Hold on. I told y'all I had some poor financial decisions. I have a CPA now. I got the account. We're good. I'm paying my tithes again. You know what I mean? Like, we're straight. But
I hope you got some benefits out of that.
the woo girls, man.
Okay.
I was on the 28th floor, and you would think being that high up, you wouldn't hear it. Man, the snare drums. If you had a guy that knew how to hit the snare drum the right way, playing inside of what's that one right there in the corner, right across from Bridgestone, but
That's
Legends.
Old Red or Legends.
There's Legends and then the
across
stage.
on the other side of the road from
Oh, Rippies?
Rippies.
Yeah.
Because it's wide open all the time.
Yes, and dude, the snare drum's pocket right in the corner, man. You hit that snare drum, I won't even forget it, dude. One day I was sick as hell, and I was laid up in my bed, man, and that dude kept hitting that snare drum, and obviously I wanted to go outside and just tell him to quit hitting it, but he wasn't gonna hear me, you know. But what do, you know? But yeah, the noise, ridiculous, bro. The sirens, the cars, the guys going down on Harleys like me, you know, jamming Nickelback and revving your straight
It's
pipes
fun to
up.
go down there and party, but it's not the place to live.
Yeah, that was so I had to finish out my lease.
Yeah.
And I bought a house. So we're good now. But yeah, don't ever think for a second like that was the poorest financial choice. And by the way, the rent was supposed to be half as much, and then I signed the paper and realized what I'd signed. I thought that was just the deposit.
Okay, so I've been wanting to ask this question because, the woo girls is this term that I just find it very fascinating that it's a term that's floating around town. Are there any other terms about Lower Broad and what goes on down there that you can educate me on?
Yeah.
Tell me all of them. I want to know.
The homeless people.
Oh, yeah, I do a lot of work with homeless people.
Yeah. I mean, there's
But
a
terms like all that, I mean, because the homeless
Yeah.
is bad. It's
yeah,
very bad.
It's and it sucks. Like not only for their situation, but like I just hate to see I don't know, man. I just hate to see the poverty, man. Like our city didn't used to be like that, and I think it goes all the way back to a few decisions in our government that probably led a lot of things that direction.
And it's not only Nashville; it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it really is. And I do a lot of work with the homeless, man. And it's a sad thing because the deeper you get involved in it, the more you try to do, the more you realize how just absolutely awful it is.
Damn, dude.
And it's not just the rescue mission.
Hey, if there's anything I can ever do to help with that too, let me know. Especially in Nashville, like being from there.
But I mean, there's a lot of street preachers. There's organizations that feed people every night of the week in different locations. I mean, there's a lot of little small organizations that are people that are doing it because God's put a calling on their heart that are down there putting hours and hours in with no desire to get any recognition or anything in return. There's a lot of people trying to make a difference. But I don't know what the solution is to that problem. But my question really was other terms like woo girls. Slang phrases, things that describe what happens on Lower Broad.
Yeah.
About the street musicians and whatever. So give me some verbiage that I can sink my teeth into. Because I don't know. I don't go down there very much. I mean, once in a freaking blue moon, and that's usually.
Have you seen like lately? Like it's not like. Like the things that have changed a lot lately down there that I've noticed is like there's like a lot of those like CBD carts, like the rolling kiosks where they're like selling like legal marijuana and like.
Well, it's low grade, but
yeah, it still gets you right, I guess.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of those down there, and then they put an Apple store in, so there's always a line out that damn door, and. Obviously, the traffic. I don't know what do you call those taxis? They have a nickname.
The golf cart taxis?
No,
or?
yeah, the ones with the bicycles with the pedicab, right?
No, they're that's rickshaws.
Is that what it is?
In a rickshaw.
Like
and the reason that I know that's because Kramer bought one on Seinfeld one time, and he was running people up and down on the rickshaw. That's the only reason I know the term.
Well, I rode in one in New York, and those guys are talented, the places they can squeeze those things. But they got them in Nashville now, and I don't know who's training these guys, but they suck. Like I'm not kidding.
How many people get killed on those birds in a month?
I don't know.
But I'm telling you, there's got to be people getting killed all the time on those things. Add alcohol to a bunch of people that don't have any business being one of those things at 1 o'clock in the morning, and bad shit's going to happen.
Yeah, you go down a hill, and it's supposed to be governed at 20, but that's only if you're going uphill.
You can hit 26 on them.
Oh, bro, hey, I'm telling you. Hitting a curb at 26 or the side of one of them damn pedicabs is going to hurt.
I need to introduce you to the guy. So that's Derek Parnell.
Yeah, dude,
we call him Junior. He plays a guitar on the road, great guitar player. And he is also a studio engineer, which is where I met him years ago at the Sound Emporium. And then Scott Joyce is my piano player on the road, and he is learning all the video stuff. So he's learned all that. So he does all that. That's awesome. They always come up with some interesting questions.
How did you and him meet?
Oh, with Scott?
Yeah, you and Scott.
My band leader hired him.
Gotcha.
He came from Blake Shelton.
No, you got me from IT work.
I saved him from IT work, but he worked for Blake Shelton before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sound Emporium, man. That's the I've always dreamed of working there, man. It changed owners a couple times now, hadn't it? Or something?
I believe was it George Shin owns it. He owned the Hornets basketball team.
Yeah,
maybe still is half owner of something like that. But Juanita Copeland, she's been the manager there for
Long time.
Long time, man. She brought the studio from the red and back into the black, and dude, they have been thriving. It's the longest still running recording facility in Nashville, as far as I know. It was built in '69.
Yeah,
by Jack Clement, and still rocking since '69. Man, it's awesome. It just smells like music in there. I love it.
Summer of '69, man.
Yeah, and I mean, golly, there's some iconic artists that have cut in there.
Oh God, I worked on 3 Willie records in there. Eric Clapton,
Guy from Led Zeppelin.
Robert Plant, Alison Krauss, those were in there.
Got a bunch of stuff.
You mentioned
the Oh Brother Warthel
the Hornets. You said the Hornets, right? That second ago.
It was the Charlotte Hornets, and they moved to New Orleans.
Are you a sports guy?
Football.
Yeah,
football, UFC. But
did you see the game the other day?
Which one?
The Titans in London.
The Titans in Alabama. I mean, I'm sorry.
The UT.
The UT
yeah,
game
I saw
in
the second half, and that's why I shouldn't have watched it because they were doing great till I started watching it.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Lakers, but I can't swim. You know. I don't like soccer either. So.
I hate soccer.
Yeah.
It's so funny, bro. My friends all ask me, they're like, man, you see the game last night when the Titans were killing? I said, oh, yeah, I love soccer. They're like, what the hell is wrong with you, bro?
Titans, man. What are we going to do? That's a bad subject. It's so bad. I think they're just laying down till they get the new stadium built.
Hey, bro, that thing is going to be brutal. That stadium is going to be massive. Where are they going to even put that thing?
Right next to the old one. They're going to, and they're supposed to build half of it and then tear the other one down after the next season and build the other half and make that a parking lot. But they're doing that so we can get a Super Bowl because we don't have enough seats by the criteria that the NFL sets. So we have to up our seating capacity. But I guess it's going to be a dome stadium, right? Yeah, it's going to be
really.
massive. Yeah.
It's going to be a dome.
Yeah,
that's going to be.
I think
cool.
It'll be retractable.
All right, so I got a new dream venue.
There you go. There you go.
The new stadium.
There you go. So come up with a question. You were real
I got
good
one.
last time.
Well, this one.
Scott's been pondering.
I have been, but it's a simple question. What's the fastest you've ever driven a car, and were you scared?
A car?
Yeah.
I don't know. I did like 140 in a Mustang one time, but I did 170 on a bike.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was the stupidest shit ever.
My hands sweat.
Is working on cars sort of therapeutic for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Are there any parallels to like working on a car versus working on a career and that kind of thing?
Well, I'm passionate about both of them. Like I'm passionate about music. And I'm passionate about like mechanics and stuff, and that's kind of like all I ever did. God gears, guns, and guitars. Like that's me. So my dad and me, if we weren't playing with some Alvarez guitars, we were either doing that or we were working on a piece of crap something.
Come on, Junior.
All right, so I've used this one like twice. My girlfriend came up with it, and it's awesome. So, what is an insult that you've received that you're the most proud of?
Oh, bro,
I've got a good one. But
what did dude say the other day, Ken, at People's Choice Awards? He said, he said, I can't believe they're finally. He said, I can't believe they're playing you on the radio. I said, yeah, me neither, man. It's a dream come true. He said, yeah, I guess for some of us. I was like, or he said something like, not some of us. He said, I guess it is for you. I don't remember what he said. I'm not gonna say who it was, but he was kind of like throwing shade because he totally walked off right after it. Like, and went told his friends, and he was over there cutting up laughing. Whatever. They're fake country boys, anyways.
What's
and like the little O was like, fuck them.
That's funny. Yeah. People are assholes, you know it.
Yeah, dude. We all got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all stink. His was bruised.
I'm stealing that.
So what's the weirdest thing you've signed so far? Not a body part. We've all done that.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, but it wasn't like it was like a. I wouldn't say it's weird. I thought it was kind of cool. I signed a what's the
prosthetic?
Word? Prosthetic, yeah. I signed a prosthetic.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was like the first time. That was like the first time I was like, whoa, this is cool. But what else have I signed? There's been some crazy stuff. I've signed people's trucks, like whatnot. Oh, bro, I signed somebody's baby.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, dude was like, sign my baby. And I was like, no. And he's like, dude, just do it. Like, please. Like, he loves you. And I'm like, this kid's like 3 months old. Like, he doesn't even know who I am. Like, yeah. But I just did a little scribble on his hand. But yeah, dude, you can find some crazy shit in Virginia.
So what's the tour schedule look like for next year? You already start. I'm sure we're at this place.
Don't be nodding your head like I'm not saying nothing. I don't say nothing.
Oh, you got some secrets you ain't want to tell just yet. Oh, come on,
let's
bro.
just say Bridgestone Arena is getting a little closer.
Oh yeah, okay.
So manifesting, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a big year. Top of the year, we're working on. We're actually been discussing it today. We're gonna be putting together like another tour. Top of the year up until this next one that's following. So yeah, it's real low key right now, and until everything's put in stone. But God is good, man, and let's just say dreams come true. And I cannot believe it. Cannot freaking believe it.
Tell me all your socials.
Yeah, I am Chase Matthew.
With an S, Matthew.
Yeah, 2 T's, no
Matthew.
S. I should put that on a damn T-shirt. 2 T's, no S. Chase Matthew. Yeah, with my big buck teeth in my forehead. But I was thinking, like, yeah, if you guys want to follow me, you can go to chasematthew.com or IamChaseMatthew.com or ChaseMatthewMerch.com, ChaseMatthewTickets.com. It all takes you back to the same place. I think even if you say ChaseMatthews.com with an S, I think it still takes you there. So, yeah, shout out to my managers for thinking ahead because I'd have never thought of that. But, yeah.
Pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Honored to get to know you.
Thank you.
And I look forward to running our paths running across each other many more times over the years, my friend.
Let's build that truck, man.
Let's do it, baby.
Come
Chase
on.
Matthew.